Hello, my fellow artists, organisers, and inspiration seekers. Welcome to my January 2021 Plan With Me video. I decided to use one of my recent galaxy painting attempts as the beginning of my double title page spread for January. I must admit, when I was creating it, I wasn't too sure about it, but once I had added more stars, added the January 2021 detail, and threw in a few constellations, I really actually liked the way that it looked. And so, when deciding what theme to use for January, I must admit I ummed and ahed a little bit as to which theme to go for. But given my recent experiences with my spiritual journey and my real enjoyment and gratitude for the moon and the stars and the night sky, I ended up going with this celestial, spiritual, constellations-led theme. And so, as you'll see, on the left-hand side, I have my first galaxy artwork. And on the right hand side, I'm going with this beautiful tree design that I found online, which is a big, strong tree standing on the ground with almost identical, symmetrical, beautiful roots growing under the ground, with the phrase, "as above, so below." Now, there are different interpretations of what this phrase means, but there is an ancient saying that as within, so without, as above, so below. And I think that one interpretation is that our inner thoughts and feelings actually create what we see and experience. So what is above in our mind will be reflected in the circumstances of our life. So our external world is that mirror of our internal world. And I think that as we examine our own consciousness and take responsibility for our own energetic vibration, we do have the power to change ourselves and the world. Energy healing, hypnotherapy, other spiritual practices are all fantastic ways to support us as we alter and change and improve and grow our own inner states and create the life that we really desire. So that's the title page, double spread, just about done. I'm just adding in the January detail in purple at the bottom in the hopes to kind of bring the colours from the galaxy and the black and white from the tree drawing together, and I think it works quite well. So on this next double spread, on the left hand side, I decided to draw a month at a glance. So I'd already done my year at a glance in the 2021 setup with me video, but I felt that I really wanted to have a slightly larger calendar that I could mark down any important dates that I needed to remember and see them all together for the month ahead. I decided that I wasn't going to go with anything particularly fancy for this spread. I just needed a nice clear calendar that gave me enough room to write my appointments, birthdays, things like that on there. On the right hand side, I have used a combination of a second galaxy painting that I had attempted and also a graph or a chart that I'd found online which allows you to track your habits or track anything else that you need to track over the course of a month in the shape of a disc. And I thought when I paired the two together, that worked really, really well. So I'm able to have half a dozen or so different habits that I can track across the course of the month, all just in that one disc, which is probably smaller than a CD. And when I saw that, I just thought, yeah, that perfectly goes with what I'm trying to achieve. And I think that will be a really fun way of ticking off my habits. So moving on to the daily and weekly spreads. Now for December, I used a weekly spread. So across a double spread of 2 pages, I had the entire week. And I did find that some weeks there just wasn't enough space. Now, I use my journal for a multitude of different things. So I use it for my personal things. I use it to keep track of home educating things. I use it to keep track of my business things. There's a lot going on in my journal. And so I thought, well, maybe for January, I would try a few different layouts. And so for the first 3 days, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I decided to create an actual daily spread. So I have a whole page. And the idea being that on each of these pages, I can highlight my top 3 priority jobs. I can take a note of 3 things that I feel grateful for each day, because gratefulness and gratitude was one of my habits that I put onto my habit spread. I can keep track of my general to-do list. I can keep track of business tasks that need to be done. But I've also got enough space in there to write down any little quotes that I have, to keep track of the mood that I wake up in, and still have a little bit of space to doodle in. So I'm going to have fun with these for the first few days and see if I find them any easier to work with than the weekly spreads. So these first few pages that I've already shown you, I had planned and penciled in before Christmas. And this was about the place that I had to stop when Christmas came about. However, I am actually really pleased that I did, because although I had hoped to have had the video done and out, uploaded before Christmas, I think in actual fact, maybe it was just the universe's way of saying, look, wait, because I can help you make things better. Because on Christmas Day, one of the presents I received was basically a bullet journaling kit. It had 20 different stencils in there. It had about 20 different washi tapes in there, and it had a pack of fine liners. So I have so many more options available to me now. So the Fridays page was all hand drawn, just simple boxes and lines. But on Saturday's page, I started testing out some of the stencils and really enjoying the banner scrolls and the different shaped boxes and things that I could use. You can already see the difference in the spreads. Those banners across the top of the boxes make such a difference. I am so happy with these, I can't even tell you. Just this small thing of having these little stencils that gave me new ideas have absolutely given my journal a whole new look now. Something else that I am considering is actually adding a couple of extra pages into January, even if it is partway through the month or towards the end of the month. But my spreads I've done so far address my day-to-day needs and cover the really important priority things and checklists for each day. But what they don't allow space for is for brain dumping when I come up with ideas that don't have a box to go in. When I think of extra things or come up with random ideas, I don't have anywhere to write them. I also don't really have anywhere specific to do journaling. You know, if a thought comes up and I want to explore it, I would have to write it in a different notebook. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of notebooks. That's one of my addictions, I think: stationery, notebooks, pens. So I do have a lot of them, but what I'm really hoping to do this year is to try and keep as much of it as possible just in my journal. And so I'm considering possibly creating another video with additional pages for January. So let me know in the comments if you think that I should do that. And here on the right hand side, I'm putting in another one of my paintings. Now, admittedly, it does look more like it belongs in December's winter theme, but I really enjoyed painting this. It's a proper moonlight painting, and as I say, the moon has influenced my artwork really heavily over these last few weeks. And so I promise you, this one was painted freshly with January in mind. And let's face it, we're still getting frost, we've still got the potential of snow, so I think I can get away with including it here. And for the first full week in January, I decided to go for 2 pages per day. So on this double page spread, we've got the first 4 days of the week, and then I go on to put the last 3 days onto the next page. As you'll see, for these ones, I'm not actually really putting any structure into these daily boxes. All I'm doing is a little doodle in the corner to make the page more interesting, and putting the date and putting 3 stars. So if nothing else, I have my top 3 priority jobs for each day. I did consider putting 3 hearts in each boxes too, so that I could also remember to do my 3 things that I'm grateful for. But I think I'm going to be okay after having 3 days of having all of the different check boxes, all of the different lists. I'm already going to be establishing those new habits, and I still have my habit tracker to do each day. So this really is a bit of an experiment throughout January to find out what pages, what layouts really work for me, which checklists I actually do use, so that going into February, I can actually go in with the things that work best for me. Because I haven't been bullet journaling very long at all. This is all still very new to me. And so I really am making it up as I go along and just trying things out and testing them and seeing what works. So tell me, do you guys ever do a drawing in black pen? So your whole image is black and white and you're really pleased with it, you really like it, and you think, you know what, I'm going to add some colour to this. And you colour it in, and once you're done, you think, nah, actually I preferred it when it was in black and white. I wish I hadn't coloured it in now because now I've spoiled it. I must admit, I did that a couple of times when doing this journal. I did some really cool designs, I was really pleased with them, and then I felt like I just went too far by adding the colour. But as you'll see, with some of the designs, I only add a splash of colour. With some of them, I colour them in entirely. But sometimes I think maybe just an entirely black and white spread might be quite good. So you never know, maybe I will do a month with basically just black and white. Maybe the occasional addition of colour just for accents. Lots of ideas coming to me as I do these videos. It's really quite interesting. Time to insert some more art. A recent saying that I've come across: your inner knowing is your only true compass. I absolutely love that. It really is about trusting your intuition and trusting your gut. So that one definitely had to go in. So for week 2, I believe, or full week 2 in January, I'm just going to do a week to the 2-page spread. And for this one, I'm using the vertical columns. I'm putting in the 3 stars for the top priority jobs, and each one has a small illustration of a different constellation. Each of the constellations that I've used actually represent a different zodiac sign. So I picked 7 of the zodiac, or the first 7 zodiac signs of the zodiac calendar, and used those for each of the days. And at the bottom, on the left hand side, I've left it mainly blank. I have created a very small habit tracker for the week. So rather than having the habits to tick off each day, I just have one small box on the bottom that I can tick them all off on. There's also a panel above that which I've left blank, which could be used for a quote of the week, or my favourite music track or audiobook that I'm listening to. And the square next to it, again, is left blank so that if I want to doodle, then I can. And on the right hand side, obviously I've added Sunday as a horizontal one just so that there's equal space for that day too, and put a little January banner in. The banner again was on one of my new stencils, and I just had to find some space to fit it in somewhere. So I figured I have a small space, it fits, so it's going in. And I think it works quite well. So all that really remains at this point in the video is to have a look back through all of the pages that we have covered. So our January title pages. Our January month at a glance, and our funky habits tracker. The first 3 days of January done as a completely different type of daily spread. A sneaky, wintry moonlight painting added in for good measure. Some interesting, spiritually celestial type designs for our 2 days a page layouts. Your inner knowing is your only true compass, my favourite quote for January. And lastly, our second full week, a week at a glance, with our habits tracker and space to doodle. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. I realise that for many of you my channel is still extremely new, but I really am enjoying doing these videos, and I really do look forward to bringing you many more. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.